Naririnig ba ako? Thumbs up if naririnig ako. Okay, so ganito. Kagabi, nag-announce ako, di ba? Together with my announcement, tatlo yung shinare ko. Number one, yung link for today. I shared also the link for you to access the recorded lecture for the other stool pathogens hanggang HASEC group, yung lecture notes number 6 na nakalabel. Okay? Na-send ko rin yung link para ma-access mo yung printable file. Okay? Na-send ko yung link sa recorded lecture. I sent the printable handouts. Naka-partner nung recording. Okay? Doon sa recorded lecture, na-mention na ang Vibrio, na-mention na ang Aeromonas, na-mention ko na ang Campylobacter, Helicobacter pylori. Okay? So for today, I will just do a recap of that kasi pwede mong balikan kasi na-share ko yung recorded for that. Okay? Doon sa recorded, nasimulan ko na rin yung mga non-fermenters. Okay? Nasimulan ko yung non-fermenters. Kaya, papasadahan ko lang uli, tapos proceed na ako sa continuation. Okay? Okay, so sige, share screen na tayo. Okay, banggitin ko lang ito ulit. Okay, pero yung mapapakinggan mo rito, sasabihin ko, nandoon din naman sa recorded lecture. Anybody can react kung hindi ako narinig, kung walang nakikita na nakaproject. Okay? So, we are done with Enterobacterales. And when I say Enterobacterales, there are several genera, di ba? So, ito yung last topic ng midterms. You have Salmonella, you have Shigella, you have Escherichia, you have Klebsiella. And in general, the Enterobacterales are classified as fermentative, gram-negative bacilli. Fermentative sila kasi lahat can ferment glucose. All are glucose positive, walang exception. And in general, Enterobacterales are said to be oxidase negative, except only for one, which is Plesiomonas shigelloides. Okay? So, we are done with Enterobac. Move on tayo sa mga tinatawag na stool pathogens. So, when we say stool pathogens, classified under this category, you have Vibrio, you have Aeromonas, you have Campylobacter, and of course, Helicobacter. So, lahat ito, stool pathogens. However, only Vibrio, Aeromonas, and Campylo are considered agents of diarrhea. Okay? Vibrio, Aeromonas, Campylobacter are said to be diarrheal agents. Helicobacter, specifically Helicobacter pylori, even though it's a stool pathogen, it is not and it is never a cause of diarrhea. It will never be a cause of diarrhea. In other words, yung Helicobacter, kahit stool pathogen siya, it is not a diarrheal agent. Okay? So the first group here is Vibrio. So ano yung mga Vibrio? So under genus Vibrio, there are several species, maraming species. Pero the most frequent isolate usually encountered sa lab, Vibrio cholera. Along with Vibrio cholera are Vibrio parahemolyticus, you have Vulnificus, Alginolyticus. Pinaka na-encounter sa lab si cholera. Pero at times, We also encounter Parahemolyticus, Vulnificus, Alginolyticus. Okay? Na-encounter yung mga yan sa laboratory. Okay. Halos lahat ng Vibrio, almost all Vibrios are agents of diarrhea. Halos lahat, okay, almost all are agents of diarrhea. However, there are Vibrios that can cause bacteremia. There are Vibrios that can cause wound infection as well as septicemia. Pero generally speaking, karamihan nagkukos ng diarrhea and most of the time due to consumption of contaminated seafoods, in particular oysters. Okay? Nagkukos sila ng diarrhea, usually due to eating contaminated seafoods. Why? Kasi ang mga Vibrios, they are found in marine water. They are usually found in marine water. They are usually found in sea water. Okay? So what are the general characteristics? Like Enterobacterales, ang mga Vibrios, facultative anaerobes. Ibig sabihin, can live with or without air. Gaya ng Enterobacterales. Biochemically, they are oxidase test positive. Not like Enterobac. Kasi ang Enterobacterales, oxidase negative. Okay? All Vibrios are oxidase test positive except Vibrio mitchnicovi. Okay? Except Vibrio mitchnicovi. So, yung oxidase test can serve as a screening test. It can serve as a screening test for Vibrio. In other words, if you are the medtech in the lab and the presence of Vibrio is suspected, may be carried out as an initial test ay yung oxidase positive. So, kunyari, ginawa mo yung oxidase test, nag-positive, anong ibig sabihin? You might be dealing with Vibrio. Okay? You might be dealing with Vibrio. Okay? Now, Vibrios, like what I said, are agents ng diarrhea. The majority are agents of diarrhea. Kaya the usual specimen submitted for detection ay stool. Usually submitted for testing ay stool. Now, if stool cannot be collected, pwede ang rectal swab. Okay? Pwede rectal swab. Okay. So, kunyari, ikaw yung medtech sa lab. And you receive stool for Vibrio detection. What will you do? Okay? Yung stool, pag dumating yan sa lab, wala kang special na gagawin dyan. You inoculate it immediately on media. So, what isolation media? Okay? On what isolation media will you inoculate the sample? Remember, pag mga Enterobac, diba, ini-inoculate natin ang stool sa EMB, sa McConkey, sa SSA. Pero pag ang stool, ang request, Vibrio detection, you inoculate sa TCBS. Okay? Ano yung itsura ng TCBS? TCBS is a plated media. Okay? It is dispensed sa Petri dish. And uninoculated, ang kulay niyan ay green. Ibig sabihin, pag wala ka pang ini-inoculate, ang kulay ng TCBS ay green. Okay? So, what are the components of TCBS? Anong ingredients ng TCBS? TCBS contains sucrose as the fermentable carbohydrate. It contains also inhibitor. Okay? Walang ibang tutubo sa TCBS, Vibrio lang kasi may inhibitor. The inhibitor is the high salt concentration. Take note, ang mga Vibrios, one unique characteristic nila is that they are halophilic. Okay? Ang mga Vibrios, generally speaking, are halophilic. They need increased salt. Okay? Kaya dapat yung media na gagamitin mo sa kanila may mataas na salt. Okay? Aside from the increased salt concentration, aside from sucrose, yung TCBS, it contains also pH indicators. So, anong pH indicators dito? Okay, tandaan mo class, ang responsible sa colony color yung indicator. May kulay ang colonies because of the pH indicators. So sa PCBS, the indicators are thymol blue, okay, and bromthymol blue. Bromthymol blue. So anong indicator sa TCBS? Thymol blue at saka bromthymol blue. So inuulit ko, walang ibang grupo na tutubo sa TCBS, Vibrio lang. At pag may tumubo, we can categorize sucrose fermenter ba or non-sucrose fermenter ba. Okay? So the specimen usually submitted ay stool. So stool when collected must be transported to the lab immediately. So immediate transport is required. Now, if there will be a delay in transport, pwede kang gumamit ng transport media. So example of transport media is Kerry Blair. Example of transport media ay Kerry Blair. Okay, so ganito yun, class. Kunyari, ikaw yung medtech sa lab, naka-receive ka ng stool. Kunyari, ito yung stool. Dumating yan sa lab, ang request, Vibrio detection. What will you do? I-inoculate mo yan agad-agad saan? Sa PCBS. Okay? You do the primary plating. You perform the initial isolation. Patubuin mo sa PCBS. This is one option. Yung stool, directly i-inoculate mo sa PCBS. Or you can do it this way. Another option, okay, another option, gumamit ka ng enrichment media. Another option, you inoculate first sa enrichment media before you inoculate sa TCBS. Kunyari, ito uli yung stool. Okay, pwedeng ganito ang gawin mo. Yung stool, i-inoculate mo sa enrichment media. An example of enrichment media is APW. Yung stool, pwedeng i-inoculate mo muna sa APW para dumami yung bacteria. Bakit mo kailangang padamihin? To make it more detectable. To increase yung chance na ma-detect mo si Vibrio. Kasi si Vibrio, take note, is not GIT flora. Okay? Hindi yan GIT flora. Okay? Pathogen talaga si Vibrio cholera. So, pwedeng padamihin mo muna sa APW and after incubation, saka mo siya ilagay sa TCBS. Okay? So, dalawang paraan. You inoculate the stool immediately on TCBS or prior to inoculating sa TCBS, padaanin mo muna sa APW. Okay? Padaanin mo sa APW. Balikan ko lang ito. Take note, lahat ng Vibrio, halophilic. The only non-halophilic are Mimicus at saka Vibrio cholera. Okay? All are glucose positive. Walang exception. Remember Enterobacterales? Enterobacterales are all glucose positive. All are lactose negative. Lahat ng Vibrio, non-lactose fermenters. Isa lang ang lactose fermenter, which is Vulnificus. Okay? Remember sa Enterobacterales, you have lactose fermenters, you have late lactose fermenters, you also have non-lactose fermenters. Sa Vibrio, lahat ay non-lactose. Isa lang ang lactose fermenter, si Vulnificus. Okay? So look at this picture. This is TCBS. Okay? So pagka sucrose positive, pag sucrose fermenter, magde-develop ng yellow colonies. Pag non-sucrose fermenter, Okay, non-sucrose fermenter colonies are green. So pag nag-inoculate ka sa TCBS, anong kulay ang aabangan mo dyan? Either yellow lang o kaya green. Okay? Kung ang tanong mo, ma'am, nag-inoculate ako, walang tumubo. So pag walang tumubo after incubation, ibig sabihin yung in-inoculate mo is not Vibrio. Kasi ang tutubo lang dito ay Vibrio. Okay? So considered significant. Okay, frequently isolated, frequently encountered sa lab, si Vibrio cholera. So Vibrio cholera is the cause of the diarrheal disease cholera. Okay, ano ba yung cholera? Cholera is a form of diarrhea. However, it is not simple diarrhea. Kasi pag matindi ang cholera at napabayaan, it could be fatal. Okay? Cholera is a diarrheal disease characterized by the production of rice watery stool. Rice watery stool. Okay? So ano yung stool consistency in the disease cholera? Remember, if you have shigellosis, ano ang shigellosis? Bloody diarrhea. Okay? In Shigella infection, in bacillary dysentery, diarrhea is bloody. Okay? In cholera, the stool is not bloody. Pero in cholera, the stool may appear rice watery. Okay? So, ito yung consistency ng stool. Okay? Ito yung appearance ng stool in the disease cholera. The disease cholera can be fatal. Kasi in cholera, there is excessive fluid loss. Okay? So yung cholera, hindi yan simpleng pagtatae. Matindi ang fluid loss dyan. The excessive fluid loss can lead to electrolyte loss. It can lead to electrolyte loss. Okay? And yung electrolyte loss can lead to what? Dehydration. So matetegi ka, madededs ka, hindi dahil sa diarrhea. Madededs ka because of what? Dehydration. Okay? What makes Vibrio cholera cause cholera? Ano yung reason? Ano yung virulence factor? What is responsible for this? Vibrio cholera produces cholera toxin, which we call choleragen. Nagpuproduce siya ng ano class? Choleragen. Choleragen is the toxin that causes the disease cholera. Okay? Okay, Vibrio cholera, it is motile. It shows shooting star. It shows shooting star motility. Nagpapakita ng shooting star motility. Shooting star motility. It is string test positive. So isang paraan to detect if it's Vibrio cholera, you do string test. Okay, kasi string test positive siya. Okay, if you will do string test, you will need sodium desoxycolate. So for you to do string test, gagamit ka ng reagent which we call sodium desoxycolate. So paano siya pine-perform class? So to do or to demonstrate the so-called string test, you get a slide. Kuha ka ng slide. Kunyari, ito yon. You get a slide. Okay, you place inoculum. You place loop full ng organism. Kumuha ka ng colonies na tumubo sa TCBS, ilagay mo sa slide. To that, you add, okay, sodium desoxycolate. Imimix mo yung colonies tsaka yung reagent. So tapos, kuha ka ng inoculating loop. You lift the colony, iangat mo yung colony or colonies using the loop. Okay? So look at this picture. Tinutok ng arrow, it is string test positive. So when you lift the colony or when you lift the emulsion na nasa slide, magkakaroon ng thread-like material. Okay? There would be what? Tenacious string. Parang may sinulid. So pag may nakita kang ganyan, positive sa string test. So kung positive sa string test, you might be dealing with Vibrio cholera. Okay? Next. Now, si Vibrio cholera, nabanggit ko na to sa recorded. Si Vibrio cholera, kung ako si Vibrio cholera, meron akong tatlong subgroups. Yung Vibrio cholera O1, O139, and non-O1. The O139, we call it also, aka, ito yung tinatawag na Bengal strain. Bengal strain. Okay? So, yung O1, okay, itong dalawa na i-highlight ko, si O1 tsaka si O139, okay, significant sila. Why are they significant? Kasi si O1 tsaka si O139, si O1 tsaka si O139, they are toxigenic. They are toxigenic. So when I say toxigenic, they produce cholera toxin. Okay? Ito yung dalawa na nagpo-produce ng cholera gen. The non-O1 class is non-toxigenic. Okay? Hindi nagpo-produce ng toxin. Pero between O1 and O139, mas madalas ma-encounter si O1. Okay? Mas madalas ma-encounter si O1. Okay? Si Vibrio cholera O1, si Vibrio cholera O1 class, meron siyang tatlong. Okay? Meron siyang tatlong serotypes. Okay? Meron siyang tatlong serotypes. Okay? So, inuulit ko, kunyari si Vibrio cholera. Ano si Vibrio cholera? May tatlong subgroups. Ano yung subgroups? O1, O139, tsaka non-O1. Diba? Sinulat ko lang dyan. Shortcut ko. Okay? Si O1, meron siyang dalawa. Meron siyang tatlong serotypes. Okay? And what are these serotypes? You have Ogawa, Inaba, Kikojima. Okay? And for you to identify yung serotype, okay? Paano ko ba malalaman kung anong serotype? In the laboratory, for you to identify the serotype, you perform yung tinatawag na serotyping. Okay? Serotype Ogawa, this is the one in India. Okay? Serotype Inaba is the serotype in the Philippines. Hikojima is the serotype in Japan. Okay? So, ganito yung class. Ma'am, pag may dumating ba na stool for Vibrio detection, kailangan ba naming i-identify if it's O1, O139, or not O1? Hindi. Pag may dumating ba ng stool, kailangan ba naming i-identify if Ogawa, Inaba, Hikojima? No need. Okay? So, kailan ina-identify? When do we identify the serotype? Ano ang purpose? Bakit ina-identify ang serotype? Yung mga serotype, yung mga subgroup, we only identify them to follow pandemics. Only to follow pandemics. Routine in the lab, our goal, routine in the lab, our goal is to identify only Vibrio cholera as species. No more, no less. Inuulit ko, it is not necessary to identify the subgroup, not necessary to identify the serotype. Kasi ang goal lang natin sa lab, i-detect ang presence ni Vibrio cholera species. Okay? Okay. In addition to the serotype, si Vibrio cholera O1, meron din siyang dalawang biotypes. Okay? Meron siyang dalawang biotypes. Inuulit ko, if I am Vibrio cholera, I have 3 subgroups. Ano yung subgroups? Vibrio cholera O1, Vibrio cholera non-O1, Vibrio cholera O139. Okay? Si Vibrio cholera O1, may tatlong serotypes. You have Ogawa, Inaba, Hikojima. In addition to the serotypes, Vibrio cholera O1, meron siyang dalawang subgroups. It has two biotypes rather. Meron siyang dalawang biotypes, the classical and Eltor. So sabi ko kanina, for you to identify yung serotype, in the laboratory, you perform serotyping. Para ma-detect mo ang serotype, anong procedure? Serotyping. Okay, what about the biotype? Okay, so para ma-identify mo naman ang biotype, okay, anong procedure ang gagawin mo? You have to perform biochem test. You perform additional biochem test. Okay, other term for biotype, we call it also biovar. Pag sinabing biotype, biovar din yun. Pareho lang. Okay? Ilan ang biotypes ni O1? Dalawa. Eltor and classical. Okay? So to differentiate, we do all of these tests. In all tests where Eltor biotype is positive, the classical biotype, okay, the classical biotype in all tests where Eltor, in all tests, okay, in all tests where Eltor biotype ay positive, si classical biotype will give opposite result. Other term for biotype, we call it also biovar. Okay? Okay, so you have this table, di ba? Okay, so lahat ng Vibrio halophilic. Okay, they need increase salt. Okay, they need increase salt. So lahat sila halophilic except Cinemicus. Okay, so what are the species that can produce growth sa media na merong 8%? Lahat except only for what? Mimicus and Vibrio cholera. Kasi silang dalawa ay non-halophilic. Okay? So maglalagay ako rito ng isa pang column. Okay? Kung kumukopya ka, ganito yon. 6.5% sodium chloride. Okay? So sino ang tutubo? Look at this one. This is 8. Mataas ang concentration. Kaya si Mimicus, hindi yan talaga tutubo kasi non-halophilic. Pero all of these can produce growth sa 65. Nagigets? Sino ang tutubo sa presence ng 6.5? Lahat sila. Kasi medyo mababa yung 6.5, kaya carry ni Mimicus at ni Vibrio cholera. Okay? Naintindihan? Lahat itong binilugan ko, including cholera, can grow positively on media with 6.5. I will add another column here. Okay? Okay, broth with no sodium chloride. Okay? So what Vibrio can produce growth pag walang sodium chloride? Sino yung dalawang Vibrio na tutubo kahit walang salt? These are Vibrio cholera kasi nga they are non-halophilic and also Vibrio mimicus. Nagets? Okay. Pero take note, lahat sila can produce growth sa TCBS. Okay? So pag yellow, anong ibig sabihin? Sucrose fermenter. So if after incubation, green colonies are developed sa TCBS, they are non-sucrose fermenters. Considered non-sucrose fermenters, you have Vibrio parahymolithicus, you have Vibrio mimicus, okay, and also Vibrio vulnificus. Okay, all the rest, yellow sila when we place them sa TCBS. Okay, ano yung green? Non-sucrose fermenter. So ano ang mnemonic class? Yung tinatawag na MVP. This is only mnemonic. Okay, mnemonic. Okay, ano ang mnemonic class? MVP. Ano yung M? Mimicus. Vibrio mimicus. Ano yung V? Vulnificus. Ano yung P? Para hemolyticus. MVP yung palatandaan ng mga ano? Hemolyticus. Ito yung palatandaan ng non-sucrose fermenters. They are non-sucrose fermenters. Malinaw? Okay, next. Okay, so I am done with Vibrio. Next, another group, you have Aeromonas. Another stool pathogens, Aeromonas. Ano ang Aeromonas? Aeromonas are also gram-negative. They are also facultative anaerobes, can also live with or without air. Like Vibrio, they are also motile. Okay? Okay, they are also motile. Nagigets? Kaya lang compared with Vibrio, they have no special requirements. They are said to be non-halophilic. Hindi sila halophilic. Wala silang special requirements, kaya tutubo sila kahit sa mga media na ginagamit for enterovac. They can produce broth sa EMB, sa Makongki, kasi hindi sila choosy. They are non-halophilic. Yun nga lang, okay, some are psychrophilic. Ano yung psychrophilic? Psychrophilic meaning cold-loving. Example ng cold-loving, si Salmonicida. Okay? So what Aeromonas are usually encountered sa lab? Ano yung madalas na i-encounter? Si Aeromonas caviae, the other one Aeromonas hydrophila. So hydrophila, sa pangalan pa lang, water-loving. Okay? Water-loving. Ano ang Aeromonas? Gram-negative rods, facultative anaerobe sila. Okay? They are also oxidase test positive, like Vibrio. Majority are beta hemolytic except for caviae. Okay? Anong kinukos ng Aeromonas? Aeromonas can cause also diarrheal disease. Okay? They are also agents ng diarrhea. Pero aside from diarrhea, they can also cause infections outside GIT. They also cause extra-intestinal infections. Okay? So what is unique? Wala pala silang special requirements, di ba? Hindi sila choosy, tumutubo sila kahit saan yung ginagamit sa enterovac. Okay? What is unique kay Aeromonas? Si Aeromonas, unique kay Aeromonas is its ability to produce growth sa CIN. Yung CIN na encounter na natin yan noong midterms. CIN is a media for what? Enterocolitica. Okay? Cephsulodin, Irgasan, Novo, Biocin. Diba? Sino lang ang alam nating tutubo dyan? Si enterocolitica. Si enterocolitica, when we place it sa CIN, it will develop bullseye appearing colonies. Bullseye colonies. Diba? Okay. Kaso, yung pag-produce ni enterocolitica ng bullseye sa CIN, hindi lang siya yon, kasi may gumagaya. Okay? May gumagaya kay enterocolitica sa pag-produce ng bullseye on CIN. And what group is that? Aeromonas. Okay? Si Aeromonas can produce growth. This can produce growth. Okay? This can produce bullseye. Can produce bullseye appearing colonies also on CIN. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hindi porke sinabing bullseye, enterocolitica agad. Kasi may gumagaya sa kanya, Aeromonas. So, anong difference? Halimbawa, nag-inoculate ka sa CIN. You were able to observe bullseye appearing colonies. How will you know if it's enterocolitica or aero? Okay? To differentiate, kasi pareho nga silang bullseye, okay? Anong gagawin mo? You do oxidase test. Kasi ang enterocolitica class, okay, if you would recall, enterocolitica being a member ng enterobac ay oxidase. This is oxidase negative. Pero ang Aeromonas ay ano? Okay, in contrast, this is oxidase positive. Okay? So ano ba yung itsura? Anong itsura ng bullseye sa CIN? When we say bullseye on CIN, anong itsura ng class? The bullseye appearing colonies, the bullseye colonies on CIN may appear as red colonies or pink colonies rather. These may appear as pink colonies, okay, with red center. With red center. So imagine pink colonies sa CIN, pero at the center of that, may tuldok red. Okay? Ano ang meron sa CIN? Okay? Ang CIN contains mannitol, and also meron siyang neutral red. Okay? So anong ingredients ng CIN? Merong antibiotics ang CIN. Cefsulodin, irgaxan, at saka novobiocin. Yung pangalan mismo ng media, yun yung inhibitors. Pero in addition, it contains neutral red and also mannitol. Okay? Next. Another group, Plesiomonas shigelloides. Plesiomonas shigelloides, previously, this is under Vibrio aero. Sila yung magkakapamilya originally. Pero now, okay, ano si Plesiomonas? This is now under Enterobacterales. Okay, dinanggit ko lang uli. Okay, pero tapos na tayo kay Plesio, di ba? Nabanggit ko na dati yan. Kasi nasa Enterobacterales na yan. Pero previously, ang kagrupo niya, Vibrio aero monas. Why? Kasi ang Plesiomonas, like Vibrio and Aeromonas, oxidase positive. Okay? Plesiomonas shigelloides is also a cause of diarrheal disease. It is oxidase test positive, non-hemolytic on back. Okay? Plesiomonas shigelloides is known for its being what? Triple decarboxylase positive. Diba? Siya yung triple decarboxylase positive. Triple decar positive. Okay? Ano yung triple decar? Siya yung LOA positive. Lysine, ornithine, arginine positive. Okay? Lysine, ornithine, arginine positive. Okay? Nagigets? It is also oxidase test positive. Okay, look at this table. Nabanggit ko na kanina. Okay? So you have Vibrio, you have Aero, Plesio. Sila yung original na magkakagrupo. Sila yung original kasi lahat sila oxidase positive. Okay? Sino lang ang hindi oxidase positive? Si Mitchell Kobe. Okay? So what is common kay Vibrio, Aero, Plesio? All of them are oxidase test positive. The only group that can produce growth, minention ko na kanina, the only group that can produce growth sa 8% sodium chloride, definitely those that are what? Halophilic. Sino ang tutubo dyan? Yung mga halophilic. Si Vibrio, non-halophilic, kaya negative. Okay? Sino pa ang negative? Si Milicus. Kasi si Milicus ay non-halophilic. Pero take note, all other Vibrios can live or requires 8%. Okay? Aero and Plesio are non-halophilic, kaya they will not be able to produce growth pag merong 8% sodium chloride sa media. Okay? Sino yung kayang tumubo sa presence ng 6.5? na-mention ko na kanina. Okay? Can produce growth sa 6.5 yung mga Vibrio. Pero again, aero at saka plesio will not. Okay? Sino yung kayang tumubo sa media na walang sodium chloride? So definitely, si Vibrio cholera. Kasi nga, non-halophilic. Naintindihan? Okay, next. Na-mention ko yung string test. So we do string test in the lab. It's one way of detecting the group Vibrio. Kasi ang mga Vibrios, they are known to be string test positive. Ito yung mention ko kanina. Okay, TCBS is selective differential media for Vibrio. So definitely, no other group can produce growth on TCBS except Vibrio. So ang tutubo lang dyan, mga Vibrio, but not aero and plesiomonas. Okay? Plesiomonas is triple decarb positive. Siya yung LOA positive. Okay? Okay. Next. Okay, ganito yung class. Another group, si Campylobacter. So I am done now with Vibrio. I am done with aero. I am done with plesio. Another group, si Campylobacter. Okay, Campylobacter are agents actually of gastroenteritis. Agent yan ng gastroenteritis. Okay, to identify Campylo, okay, ang specimen for detection, definitely stool. Okay? So, pag dumating ng stool sa lab, hindi palaging enterobac. Could be Vibrio, could be aero, could be Campylo. Okay? Okay. So, what is unique kay Campylo? Under the microscope, it appears as S-shaped bacilli resembling wings of seagulls. It resembles wings of seagulls. Okay? Tingin sa drawing ko, class. Yung typical rod, typical bacilli, ganito ang itsura. Ang mga bacilli, di ba ganyan? Kasi pag koksay, ganyan. Pag spiral, obvious ba? Okay? So, pag mga bacilli, rod, ganito. But not Campylo. Kasi si Campylobacter, anong itsura ni Campylobacter? It appears like wings of seagulls. So, ganyan yung itsura niya under the microscope. So, aside from appearing like wings of seagulls, okay, it shows darting motility. It shows darting motility. Okay? So, under the microscope, may makikita ka ba na kakaiba na magbibigay sa iyo ng palatandaan na Campylobacter yon? Yes. Okay? Ano yung dapat mong makita sa microscope that would tell you that you might be dealing with Campylo? If the organism appears like wings of seagulls, and if you observe the darting motility. Okay? Pwede bang i-culture ang Campylobacter? Yes. Okay? And the following can be used to isolate. Sa media ka mag-i-inoculate, you use Campivac, you use Iskiros, etc. Any of this, pag ginamit mo, si Campylobacter tutubo. Kaya lang, pag nag-inoculate tayo at nag-incubate, hindi basta-basta ang pag-incubate. Kasi, ano ang requirement ni Campylo? Okay? During incubation, konting oxygen lang, pero mataas na CO2. Why? Kasi ang Campylobacter, they are known for being micro-aerophilic na, okay? They are micro-aerophilic na, capnophilic pa. They are micro-aerophilic at the same time capnophilic. Kaya, tignan mo yung drawing ko. Nag-inoculate ka kasi feeling mo Campylobacter. So, saan mo ngayon, ano ang next pagkatapos mo mag-inoculate? I-incubate mo, class. Okay? Pwede mo bang ilagay yung plate sa incubator lang? Hindi. Kasi pag in-incubator mo lang, okay,
tandaan mo class, whenever we place the inoculated plates sa incubator, ang tubo lang sa ginagawa mo ganun are only aerobes at saka facultative anaerobes. Yung paglalagay natin ng mga plates ng tubes directly sa incubator, which is set at 35 saan mo may mga capnophilic. So pag capnophilic, dapat gumamit ka ng candle jar, di ba? Pag capnophilic, how will you address the need? You use candle jar. Pag microaerophilic, candle jar. Pag ang dinidil mo, anaerobe, hindi pwedeng ilagay ang mga petri dishes, ang mga plates, directly sa incubator. Ilagay mo sila saan? Gas pack jar. And all of this I mentioned already nung prelim, di ba? Yung candle jar at gas pack jar. So anong requirement ng Campilo? Okay, hindi pwedeng pagka-inoculate mo, lagay ko lang sa incubator. Hindi yan tutubo. Kasi ang gusto niya, konting oxygen lang, pero mataas na CO2. Naintindihan? Nagets? It is both microaerophilic and at the same time capnophilic. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, at what temperature do we need to incubate? Okay, tandaan mo class, ang Campilo, it has preference for high temperature. We do not incubate at 37. Okay? Kasi usually ang Campilo, they must be incubated at 42. So ganito yung class. Campylobacter jejuni, Campylobacter coli will be able to tolerate yung 42 degrees Celsius. So pag itong dalawa na to ang pinapatubo mo, pag gusto mong tumubo yung dalawa, you incubate at 42. However, there is one Campylobacter na hindi aprobado sa 42, si Campylobacter fetus. Kasi si fetus lang ang at 37 degrees. Okay? Next. Another unique kay Campilo, okay, Campylobacter infection plays a role in Guillain-Barré syndrome. Okay? So what disease is associated? What disease is associated kay Campylobacter? Related kay Campylobacter yung GBS, Guillain-Barré syndrome. And what is Guillain-Barré? Guillain-Barré is autoimmune disease wherein there is what? Paralysis. Okay? In the same disease, in Guillain-Barré syndrome, okay, ano ang meron sa sakit na to? There is paralysis. Autoimmune ito wherein the patient may have paralysis. Okay? Nagets? Anong bacteria? Natanong na to sa board exam. What bacteria shows association with Guillain-Barré? Si Campilo. Pero tandaan mo class, may virus na related din kay Guillain-Barré. Anong virus yon? Related kay Guillain-Barré ay si Zika virus. Kung ikaw ay tapos na sa mycoviro, dapat alam mo yan. Naintindihan? Okay, dapat nabanggit yan sa'yo. What virus? Zika is RNA virus. Okay, anong family si Zika? Zika is under Flaviviridae. It is a flavivirus. It is arthropod-borne virus. Okay, si Zika virus ay kapamilya ni dengue virus. Arthropod-borne yan. Related kay Zika, si GBS. Okay? Next. Another species, Helicobacter pylori. Okay? Helicobacter is not a diarrheal agent. This is not a diarrheal agent. This will never cause diarrhea. Okay? Helicobacter pylori was named as such. Pinangalanan siya na pylori kasi it is found in the pyloric end of the stomach. It is found in the pyloric end of the stomach. It is found in the gastric mucosa, kung saan ang pH usually acid. Okay? Kaya kung tayong lahat dito bacteria, hindi tayo mabubuhay dyan sa gastric mucosa na acid. Kasi majority ng bacteria as to pH, neutrophilic. Many bacteria prefers neutral pH. So when you place them sa acid, dead sila. Si Helicobacter pylori, nabubuhay siya sa gastric mucosa. Why? Ano bang virulence factor niya? Pylori is capable of urease production. Okay? Helicobacter pylori can produce urease. So once it produce urease, kung ako si pylori, I will release urease. Magre-release ako ng urease. And the urease, once it is released, it will make the pH of the GIT alkaline. It will make the pH of the GIT alkaline, making it favorable for its growth. Okay? Kunyari ako si Helicobacter pylori, nasa GIT ako, I will not be affected by the acid pH. Kasi all I need to do is to release urease to make the pH alkaline. Okay? Pylori is significant kasi it is said to cause gastritis. It's a cause of gastritis. It's a cause of duodenal ulcer. Can cause duodenal ulcer. And it is also a risk factor for having gastric carcinoma. Anong kinukos, class? Gastritis. Ano pa? Duodenal ulcer. Okay? If you have Helicobacter pylori infection, you may be at risk in developing gastric carcinoma. Okay? You might be at risk, or you can be at risk in developing gastric carcinoma. Carcinoma is carcinoma is cancer. Be sure na nandito ka sa GMIT. Okay? Be sure na nasa GMIT ka. Kasi random later. Pabubukas ko ang camera, I will check the attendance. Okay? Okay. Majority nagre-request ng walang pasok, rant ng rant because of the health break, di ba? Okay? Kaya lang ito lang ang sasabihin ko. Okay? Kahit magpa-health break ang CEU, it is not guaranteed na hindi ka magkakasakit kung ikaw ay nasa bahay lang. Nasusundan ang ibig kong sabihin, hindi ako galit na nagra-rant kayo na walang health break. Pero, isipin nyo rin, kung kayo ba'y nasa bahay, ibig bang sabihin, walang possibility for you to get infected also? Diba? Hindi guaranteed na nag-online tayo, di kayo magkakasakit. Number 2, hindi rin guaranteed na pag ginawang online, walang maglalakwasa sa inyo. Okay? Kaya, instead na mag-rant na nang hihingi ng health break, do your part, protect yourselves. Okay? I made this online para hindi ka na dumating on-site. Pero be sure na kung ito ay online, ay uma-attend ka naman. Okay? Naintindihan ba? This is only just reminder. Malalaki na kayo, alam nyo nang dapat gawin. Okay? Kung makikinig ka, bahala ka. Kung hindi ka makikinig, ewan ko sa'yo. Kung ang sasabihin mo, narinig mo na to nung nakaraan kasi you are taking the subject again, okay, bahala ka rin. It's your choice. If you want to pass, it's all up to you. You don't want to pass, you want to repeat again, bahala ka rin. Malalaki na kayo. My job here is to teach, okay? Kung ayaw mong makinig, kasi nakukonsumi ka na dahil paulit-ulit na itong sinasabi, ay bahala ka. Okay? Okay. You have the recorded of this, but still I am lecturing. Okay? Ikaw lang yan. Ewan ko sa inyo. Okay. So we continue. So as mentioned,
Helicobacter pylori is not a diarrheal agent. It will never cause diarrhea. Kasi ang kinukos niya, gastritis, ulcer, also increased risk for gastric carcinoma. It causes gastritis, ulcer, etc. because of its ability to produce urease. Okay? Helicobacter pylori is culturable. Nakukulture ito. Kaya lang to detect H. pylori infection, we do not perform culture routine in the lab. Okay? Kasi there is a rapid test now to detect H. pylori infection. Okay? We call it coprostool antigen test. Okay? So what is coprostool antigen test? Coprostool antigen test is a rapid test, okay, to detect H. pylori infection. It is an immunochromatographic test. Immunochromatographic test. Okay? Immunochromatographic test. Kumbaga, it's a form of what? Coprostool antigen test is a form of immunoassay. Okay? Yung term na immunoassay, saan mo ba yan na-encounter? The term immunoassay, we encounter this sa sero. Diba? And usually, ano ang specimen sa sero? To do sero test, ang usual specimen serum. Pero tandaan mo, hindi lahat ng immunoassay will require serum as sample. And one example of that, yung tinatawag na coprostool antigen test. Okay? Okay, it is because of this. Why pylori was classified as a stool pathogen. Hindi siya agent ng diarrhea, pero considered siya as a stool pathogen kasi nga, one way of detecting infection is by doing coprostool antigen test. It is a rapid test to detect H. pylori infection. It's like doing, okay, ano yung coprostool antigen test? It is like doing pregnancy test. In 5 minutes, meron kang result. Okay? Okay. So yung rapid test ba? Is this the most recommended? Is this the gold standard? Hindi. The gold standard for detection is the so-called urea breath test. Okay? Pinaka-okay para ma-detect ang pylori infection yung number 2. Pero tandaan mo, culturable si pylori. Kaya lang, routine, hindi natin yan kinukulture. Kasi nga, may rapid. Okay? Pero the gold standard, the most recommended is urea breath test. So ano ba yung urea breath test? Urea breath test is non-culture technique. It is non-culture technique. Hindi tayo nagkukulture sa urea breath test. What else? It is non-invasive. Okay? It is non-culture technique. It is non-invasive. It will measure urease activity. Okay? It will measure urease activity. Okay? Sa anong paraan? Ano bang ginagawa sa urea breath test? In urea breath test, the patient will be asked. Okay? The patient will be asked. Okay? The patient will be asked to ingest. The patient will be asked to ingest carbon-labeled urea. Carbon-labeled. Okay? The patient will be asked to ingest carbon-labeled urea. And after that, saka i-measure yung urease activity. Okay? Doing urea breath test is time-consuming. Kaya, hindi yan routine na ginagawa. In addition to being time-consuming, it is also
expensive, mahal. Okay? Kaya hindi yan ang alin. Hindi yan ang routine na ginagawa to detect infection. Okay? So you have here table of differences, okay, among jejuni, okay, you have here differences among jejuni, coli, fetus, pylori. Okay? In general, to differentiate si pylori, okay? In general, to differentiate pylori from Campylobacter, okay, we do urease test. Okay? Kasi Campylo are urease negative. Ang helico ay positive. Okay? To differentiate jejuni from pylori, we consider hypurate. Okay? Positive sa hypurate si jejuni, negative si Nauclas, negative si pylori. Bakit ko minimension yung mga yan? Okay? Kasi natanong yan nung August 2025 board exam. Last August, tinanong yan, what are the tests that will differentiate pylori and jejuni? These are the following. You have urease test at saka hypurate hydrolysis. Okay, pero take note, both can grow at 42. Okay, next. We move on now to the gram-negative, non-fermentative. Enterobacterales ay fermentative, di ba? Glucose positive silang lahat. Vibrios are also fermentative. Glucose positive ang Vibrio. Aeromonas are also fermentative. Sino-sino yung mga fermentative? Yung mga enterobac, si Vibrio, si Aeromonas. Okay? Pero in the laboratory, we also encounter the non-fermenters. Okay? Ano bang ibig sabihin ng fermentative? Okay, what do we mean by fermenters? So pag fermenter ka class, you produce acid with or without air. Okay? Pag nagpo-produce ka ng acid with or without air, you can be classified as fermentative. Fermentative ka. Okay, pag nagpo-produce ka ng acid, aerobically, anaerobically, then you are said to be fermentative. Okay? You are non-fermenter if you produce acid only in the presence of air. Pag nagpo-produce ka ng acid, pag merong air lang, you are classified as what? Non-fermentative. Okay? Ibalik ko lang si TSI. Ano ang purpose ng TSI? Okay? We use TSI. TSI is a media to detect. What is the purpose of TSI? To detect the ability of the bacteria to produce acid. We use TSI to detect acid production. Okay? To detect acid production. So, isang paraan para malaman kung nagpo-produce ng acid o hindi, gumamit ka ng TSI. If you will use TSI, you will need only one tube. Kasi TSI, we dispense it slant and back. Inuulit ko anong purpose ng TSI para malaman kung nagpo-produce ba ng acid o hindi. Okay? There is another media with the same purpose. May isa pang media na ganyan din ang purpose. We call it OF media. Kaya lang anong difference? Pag gagamit ka ng OF, you will need dalawang tube. Pag gagamit ka ng TSI, isa lang. Inuulit ko, yung TSI at OF, pareho lang ng purpose yan. For us to determine the ability of the organism to produce what? To produce acid. Okay? Pero take note, yung TSI, madalas, ginagamit natin yan for what group? Ginagamit natin ang TSI madalas sa mga enterobacterales. And what are enterobac? Kakasabi ko lang, fermenters sila. What about yung OF? Kanino natin madalas ginagamit si OF? Yung OF media, madalas ginagamit natin yan sa mga non-fermenters. Pero ang tanong, pwede mo bang gamitin ang PSI sa mga non-fermenters? Oo. Pwede mo bang gamitin ang OF sa mga fermenters? Pwede. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung PSI, pwede dito, pwede rin siya dyan. Pero yung OF, pwede rin siya dito, pwede rin siya dyan. Pero most of the time, class, kanino mo ginagamit ang PSI? Kay Enterovac. Madalas, kanino mo ginagamit ang OF? Sa mga non-fermenters. Malinaw? Okay. So, first bullet. Organisms that can produce acid, okay, only under aerobic conditions, we call them as oxidizers. Pag nagpo-produce ka ng acid, only under aerobic condition, you may be classified oxidizer or non-fermenter. Non-fermenter ka. In short, other term for non-fermenter is oxidizer. Nagets? Other term is oxidizer. Okay, punta tayo ngayon dito sa OF media. Punta tayo sa OF media. Okay, ano yung OF media? What are the components ng OF media? Okay? Ano ang components ng OF? Yung OF media, meron siyang glucose as fermentable. The usual pH of OF is bronchimol blue. Bronchimol blue. Okay? Ang usual pH niyan, bronchimol blue. Okay? So, again, ano pang ingredients ng OF? It has high carbohydrate content pero low peptone content. Nagets? Okay. Ito ang usual indicator. Ito ang usual. Ano yung pwede pang ibang gamitin? So what are the other indicators? Okay? Other indicators. What are the other indicators in OF? Ano yung ibang indicators? We can use phenol red as indicator. Okay? Pag itong ginamit mo, class, in an acid pH which is considered positive, the media will turn yellow. Okay? Pag gumamit ka ng phenol red, ang negative alkaline, ang kulay ay dilaw. Okay? Okay. Another indicator na pwedeng gamitin sa OF is bromcresol purple. Bromcresol purple. Okay? So, sa bromcresol purple, pag positive acid, ang kulay uli yellow. The media will become yellow. Pag negative alkaline, ang kulay ay purple. Okay? Next. Number 3. What is another indicator? Another indicator in OF is the so-called andrades. Okay? Andrades acid fuchsin. Andrades acid fuchsin. Okay? Ano ang positive dito, class? Ang positive dyan acid, kulay pink. Okay? Ano ang negative alkaline? Kulay yellow. Okay? So, inuulit ko. Ibalik ko dito, class. Ano ang usual indicator sa OF? Ang usual indicator sa OF, okay? Ang usual indicator, ito, si bronchimol. Kaya, pag tinanong yan sa board exam, what is the indicator in OF media of Hugh and Lipson? You answer bronchimol blue. Kunyari, nasa choices lahat, phenol red, bromcresol, tapos walang all of these. Best answer would be this one. Okay? Okay. Ano yung ibang indicators? Pwedeng phenol red, bromcresol, o kaya ito. Okay?
So, if you use phenol red, okay, pag ang indicator phenol red, we call it OF media, okay, CDC method. So, ano ang indicator sa OF media, CDC method? It is what? Phenol red. Okay? Nagets? Okay. So, ganito yun, class. So, sinabi ko kanina, okay, hanap ako dito ng space na pwede kong pagsulatan. Okay. So, sabi ko kanina, pag gumamit ka ng PSI, you prepare only one tube. Okay? Kasi we dispense it slant and back. Pag gumamit ka ng PSI, after incubation, we would be able to classify the organism if non-fermenter ba siya, non-lactose fermenter ba, or lactose fermenter. So kung non-fermenter, ano ang result sa PSI? K over K. Pag non-lactose, K over A, di ba? Pag lactose fermenter sa PSI, A over A. Ibig sabihin, pag gumamit ka ng PSI, you would be able to classify, okay, the organism as to whether they are non-fermenter, non-lactose, or lactose fermenter. Okay? Now, what about if you use OF media? Pag ang ginamit mo OF, okay, ganito yon. Pag gumamit ka ng OF media class, if you use OF media, you will need dalawang test tube. One to be labeled open. Kung gagamit ka ng OF, dalawa. Dalawa ang ipe-prepare mo. Yung isa, i-label mo as open. Yung isa, i-label mo as closed. Nag-gets? Okay. The open tube will represent the aerobic tube. The closed tube will represent the what? Anaerobic tube. So, after you have prepared the tubes, lagyan mo na ng media, lagyan mo na ng OF. Okay, lagyan mo na yan ng media. So, after preparing the media, ano ang kasunod? I-inoculate mo na yung organism. Okay, na tinetest mo. I-inoculate mo dyan. Pero before you incubate to the closed tube, you have to add, lalagyan mo ito ng mineral oil. Okay? Lalagyan mo ng mineral oil yung close. Walang mineral oil sa open. So, ano ang purpose ng mineral oil? The mineral oil will act as what? Oxygen barrier. So, bakit kailangan mong gumamit ng oxygen barrier? Kasi nga, yung closed tube ay anaerobic tube. Okay? So, you inoculate the organism. After that, you overlay the closed tube with what? Mineral oil. So, after that, you incubate. So, after incubation, ano ang result? Class. Ano ang result? Look at this picture. Ano ang positive sa OF? Ang positive sa OF, yellow. Okay? Ano ang negative? Green or blue-green. Okay? So, look at this picture. Ito yon. Tingin sa nakaproject. Okay? If after incubation, both the open and the closed tube had become yellow, positive, pareho. Anong ibig sabihin? So, dalawa yung test tube mo, open and closed. What does it mean? Ibig sabihin, the organism that you inoculated was able to produce acid both in the presence of air and in the absence of air. Okay? So, pag ganito ang resulta, class, itong chinekan ko, pag positive pareho, ibig sabihin, yung bacteria na nilagay mo, nagpuproduce siya ng acid, may oxygen man o wala. So, kung nagpuproduce siya ng acid, may oxygen man o wala, we classify the organism as fermenter or fermentative. Okay? Anong klase ng bacteria? Pag positive sa pareho, fermenter. An example ng fermenter, Enterobacterales.
or Enterobacteriaceae. Diba? Okay. Pwede mo bang gamitin ang OF sa mga Enterobacterales? Oo. At pag ginamit mo yon sa kanila, ito ang result nila. Positive sila both in open and closed tube. Okay? Next. If after incubation, okay? After incubation, only, okay? If after incubation, only the open tube had become yellow, yung closed tube mo negative. Okay? Anong ibig sabihin? So pag ganito ang result, pag ito yung result, ibig sabihin, the organism that you inoculated was able to produce acid only aerobically, but not anaerobically. Nag-produce siya ng acid only in the presence of air, but not in the absence of air. Kaya, kung nagpo-produce ng acid, pag meron lang air, we classify it as oxidizer, oxidative. Okay? And other term for oxidative is non-fermenter. Okay? We call it non-fermenter. Example ng non-fermenter is what? Pseudomonas. Okay? Example ng fermenter, Enterobacterales, Vibrio, Aero. Example ng non-fermenter, Pseudomonas. Okay? Next. Look at this picture. Negative sa pareho. Negative sa open, tsaka sa close. Anong ibig sabihin pag ganito, class? Ibig sabihin, yung organism that you inoculated was not able to produce acid with or without air. Hindi nag-produce ng acid, may oxygen man o wala. Naintindihan? So kung hindi nagpo-produce ng acid, may oxygen o wala, hindi yung fermenter. Hindi rin yun non-fermenter. So anong category? Negative sa pareho, we classify the organism as saccharolitic, okay? We classify it as saccharolitic or other term, non-saccharolitic, or we call it also non-oxidizer. We call it also non-oxidizer. Ito pa, at ito pa, same ng meaning. Other term for non-oxidizer, non-saccharolitic or asaccharolitic. Okay? Example ng organism na non-saccharolitic is Alcaligenes fecalis. Alcaligenes fecalis. Intindihan? Okay. Ano example mo ng fermenter? Enterobac. Anong example mo ng fermenter? Enterobac. Anong example ng non-fermenter? Pseudo. Anong example ng non-saccharolitic? Alcaligenes fecalis. Nag-get? Okay. So this picture, etong picture na to, which is OF media, ito rin yan. Yun nga lang, itong nilagyan ko ng bracket, inwards. Yung kanina, picture. Okay? So positive sa open at close, anong category? Fermentative. Anong example? Enterobacterales. Okay? Positive lang sa open. Anong category? Non-fermenter. Anong example ng non-fermenter? Pseudomonas. Negative sa open and close. Anong classification? Non-saccharolitic. Anong example niyan? Alcaligenes fecalis. Alcaligenes fecalis. Okay? Nagets? So why are the non-fermenters important? Ano ba yung mga non-fermenters? Okay? Mas significant ba sila sa fermentative? Medyo. Why? Kasi the non-fermenters, number one, they are never normal flora. they are never normal flora. Number 2, they are transient flora. They are transient flora of hospitalized patients. They are transient flora of hospitalized. Okay? Transient flora of hospitalized patients. Okay? When we say transient, they are temporary flora. Okay? Temporary flora sila na mga naka-admit sa ospital. Most of the time, they cause nosocomial infections. Okay? Kadalasan, anong kinukos nila? Nosocomial infections. They cause nosocomial infections that are usually difficult to treat. Kadalasan, ang kinukos nila, mahirap gamutin. Kasi tandaan mo, ang mga non-fermenters, they cause diseases usually resistant to antibiotics. Ang mga non-fermenters, ang majority niyan, resistant to antibiotics. The reason why infections due to them are difficult to treat. Naintindihan? Anong kinukos ng mga non-fermenter? Mga mahirap gamutin. Kasi kadalasan, resistant sila sa antibiotics. Okay? Okay. Gagamitin ko lang itong space na to. Okay. Pag sinabing non-fermenters, sino-sino sila? Ano-ano yung mga non-fermenters? Classified non-fermenters, yung mga genus under family Pseudomonaceae. Pseudomonaceae. Okay? Sino yung mga non-fermenters? Yung mga genus under family Pseudomonaceae. Ano ba genus under this family? So under this family, okay, under family Pseudomonaceae, you have genus Pseudomonas, genus Burkholderia, at saka Stenotropomonas. So itong tatlo na binilugan ko, magkaka-family sila. At lahat yung tatlong yan, classified sila as non-fermenters. Okay? Sila lang ba ang non-fermenters? Hindi. Kasi may tinatawag na Acinetobacter. You also have Acinetobacter. So si Acineto, hindi siya kasali dito, di ba? Ibang grupo siya. Pero si Acineto ay non-fermenter din. Number 3, another example, the genus Shewanella. Okay? Shewanella is not included in this family. Pero take note, si Shewanella ay non-fermenter din. Naintindihan ba? So, hindi porke sinabing non-fermenter, tatlo lang. Hindi Pseudomonas lang, hindi Burkholderia lang, hindi lang Steno. Kasi there are other non-fermenters. Examples are what? Shewanella, another one is Acinetobacter. Okay? Pero, anong non-fermenter? Okay? Ano yung frequent na na-encounter sa ospital? Regarded as the number 1 non-fermenter. Number 1, okay, most common non-fermenter in the lab, Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay? The second non-fermenter, the second most common is Acinetobacter. The genus Acinetobacter. Ano yung third most common? The third most common, si Stenotropomonas maltophilia. Stenotropomonas maltophilia. So, itong tatlo na to class, yan ang common sa ospital. Okay? Frequent aeruginosa, followed by Acinetobacter, followed by maltophilia. Pero tandaan mo, ang magka-family lang dyan, ito, tsaka si aeruginosa. Okay? Acinetobacter is from different group. Okay? Next. Punta tayo sa Pseudomonadaceae. So like what I said, under Pseudomonadaceae, tatlong grupo. You have genus Pseudomonas, Burkholderia, Stenotropomonas. So what are the characteristics? So number one, lahat yan oxidase positive. Okay? Except CS maltophilia. The letter S here ay ito class. CS maltophilia. Okay? Okay. Pag inoculate natin sila sa PSI, they will be reported K over K. Lahat ay motile. Sino lang ang hindi motile? Okay? Non-motile, si Burkholderia. Itong letter D dito, ito yan. Okay? Si Burkholderia. Non-motile is Burkholderia malaise. Okay? So, in general, lahat ng Pseudomonadaceae, oxidase positive. Ito lang ang hindi. Lahat ng Pseudomonadaceae, motile. Ito lang ang non-motile. So, the first group is Pseudomonas. And under Pseudomonas, the most significant is Aeruginosa. Aeruginosa is significant because, okay, it is significant because Aeruginosa is regarded as the number one ICU isolate. It is the number one ICU isolate. Okay? ICU isolate. Bukod dun class, it is the most frequently isolated non-fermenter. Okay? What else? Aeruginosa is significant kasi it is regarded as the number one cause of ventilator-associated pneumonia. Ventilator-associated pneumonia. Okay? Okay. Siya yung nagkukos ng pneumonia. It can cause pneumonia in patients, okay, in patients who are intubated. Yung mga pasyenteng nakatubo na, naka-ventilator na, naka-intubate na. So saan mo ba makikita yung mga pasyenteng naka-ventilator, naka-intubate? Di ba sa ICU? Okay? Yung mga pasyenteng nasa ICU, kadalasan ang kinakamatay niyan, pneumonia that is due to Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Why? Gaya ng narinig mo kanina, ang Pseudomonas nagkukos yan ng infections, being non-fermenter, they cause infections that are difficult to treat kasi they show resistance to antibiotics. Okay? Kunyari, ikaw yung pasyente na nasa ICU, suspected to have pneumonia due to Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Pag ang pasyente, class, pag ang pasyente nakatubo na, naka-intubate na, anong specimen ang i-collect? Okay? What type of specimen will you collect from a patient, from patients who are already intubated? Paano ba dinedetect ang pneumonia, class? Anong specimen ba? One specimen na pwedeng i-process to detect pneumonia ay sputum. Pero kung ang pasyente naka-intubate na, alangan namang sabihan mo pa siya na mag-collect ng sputum. Hindi mo pagkukulikin yun. Kasi lalong matutuluyan yun. Kaya pag ang pasyente naka-intubate na, naka-ventilator na, and your purpose is to detect pneumonia, the specimen to collect is ETA. Natatanong yan sa board exam. Ano yung ETA? Endotracheal aspirate. Endotracheal aspirate. We collect from the patient endotracheal aspirate. Okay? Okay, pero kung hindi naman naka-ventilator, anong specimen? It could be sputum. Okay? So what are the characteristics ng aeruginosa? Aeruginosa is a strict aerobe. Okay? Obligate aerobe. When we place it on PSI, it will be reported K over K. Okay? It will be reported K over K kasi non-fermenter. Although it can produce growth at 37, tumutubo siya at 42. Biochemically, it is both oxidase and catalase test positive. On back, it will show beta hemolysis. Okay? Pag pinatubo mo siya, class, pag pinatubo mo yan sa media, it will develop colonies with unique odor. Pag tinignan mo yung colonies, medyo walang kakaiba sa itsura. Yung itsura ng colonies, walang kakaiba. Pero sa amoy, meron. Okay? It can develop colonies with unique odor similar to overripe grapes, or we describe it as corn taco or corn tortilla-like odor. Corn taco, corn tortilla-like odor. Okay? Aside from that, on media, okay, it will develop colonies. It will develop pigment. Nagpo-produce ng pigment. Okay? It can produce phyocyanin. Phyocyanin is the water-soluble blue pigment. Blue pigment. Okay? Ano yung pyoprotein? We call it fluorescein. This is the green pigment. Okay? Pero aside from the blue and the green, nagpo-produce din ng red pigment. We call it pyorubin. We call it pyorubin. Okay? Nagpo-produce din ng brown pigment. Okay? We call it pyomelanin. Okay? Pyomelanin. Blue is phyocyanin, green is pyoprotein, red is pyorubin, pyomelanin ay brown. Okay? So what media? On what media will you inoculate? Okay, saan ka mag-i-inoculate? To initially inoculate, to initially isolate, anong media? We can use cetrimide agar. Okay? To isolate, gumamit ka ng cetrimide. May tutubo bang iba dyan? Wala. Kasi ang cetrimide, it is toxic to many. It is toxic to many bacteria, but not to Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay? Biochemically, it is acetamide utilization test positive. So one way to detect Pseudomonas aeruginosa, gawin mo yung acetamide utilization. So anong positive result dito, class? If you do this test, positive is blue, negative is green. Kasi in this test, gumagamit tayo ng indicator. Anong indicator sa acetamide? The indicator here is bromthymol blue. The indicator is bromthymol blue. Okay? So, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, significant yan. So, bakit significant? Kasi nagkukos ng wound infection. Okay? It can cause wound infection in burn patients. Nagkukos ng wound infection in burn patients. We call it blue pus. Nagkukos ng ear infection, which we call otitis externa. We call it diverse ear infection or swimmer's ear infection. Okay? It can also cause skin infection na kung tawagin ay ecthyma gangrenosum. Ecthyma gangrenosum is the medical term. Pero it can also cause jacuzzi or hot tub syndrome, or what we call whirlpool dermatitis. So bakit nagkukos ng infection na may kinalaman sa tubig? Kasi si Pseudomonas aeruginosa can survive. It can survive in wet environment. It can survive in wet environment. Okay? Okay. So, nagkukos din siya ng pneumonia. Narinig mo na kanina, di ba? Nagkukos ng pneumonia, particularly in those who are intubated. in those on ventilator. Pero nagkukos din yan ng pneumonia in patients with cystic fibrosis. Hindi siya nagkukos ng cystic fibrosis, pero nagkukos siya ng pneumonia sa pasyenteng may cystic fibrosis. So ano ba yung cystic fibrosis? Cystic fibrosis is a condition wherein there is build up of mucus. It's a condition wherein there is build up of mucus. Nagets? So what are the virulence factors? Okay, bakit nagkukos ng ganito si aeruginosa? Ano ang virulence factors? Okay, number 1, okay, a pilay, which is for what? Which is for attachment. Okay, yung alginate class. Okay, ano yung alginate? Okay, this will promote biofilm formation. Will promote biofilm formation. Okay? Okay. Next. So, other Pseudomonas. You have other Pseudomonas. Okay, you have Pseudomonas tutseri. You have Mendocina. Itong dalawa class, itong dalawa are considered soil denitrifiers. Stutzeri, okay, anong unique kay Stutzeri? Can develop colonies that are wrinkled. Okay? Fluorescens and Putida, nilagyan ko ng bracket. Kasi itong dalawa, biochemically similar. If we do biochem test, pareho sila ng result. Okay? And to differentiate silang dalawa, we do gelatin hydrolysis test. Fluorescens and Putida can cause transfusion-related septicemia. Nagkukos ng bacteremia. Okay? Transfusion-related bacteremia. Kasi si fluorescens and Putida, iside notes mo, can contaminate. They can contaminate, okay? They can contaminate blood bugs. They can contaminate blood bugs or blood products. Okay? Kaya nagkukos sila ng transfusion-related infection. Okay? Nagkukos ng transfusion-related bacteremia or septicemia. Okay? Next. So you have here picture that shows result ng acetamide. Positive blue, negative is green. Okay? So can produce growth. So differences sa mga significant, aeruginosa, fluorescens, Putida can grow positively at 37. Pero the one that can produce growth at 42, si aeruginosa lang. Kasi fluorescens and Putida, hindi. Lahat sila can produce pyoverdine. However, only aeruginosa can produce pyocyanin. Nagets? Okay. I will send recorded lecture to finish all the remaining here. Okay? All the remaining here. Okay? Nagets? I will send recorded for the remaining topics dito sa handout kasi, okay, when we meet next week, quiz yun. Okay? Okay, tingin sa nakaproject. Okay, etong nilagyan ko ng bracket na yan, nandoon yan sa recorded lecture na sinend ko. Okay? Look at the announcement, may link doon. Pag pinindot mo yon, maririnig mo itong part na to. Naintindihan? Okay. Next. Okay. Pag pinakinggan mo yung recorded dun sa link na binigay ko,
Again, itong part na to ay nandoon din. Na-mention na. Okay? Next. Okay. Itong part na to, binibilugan ko ngayon ng kulay blue, it's not in the recorded. Okay? It's not in the recorded. But I mentioned this to you ngayon. Okay? Next. Okay. Sinadya kong wala ito. Okay? Kasi itong dalawa na to, if you listen to the recorded, dun sa link na binigay ko, nandoon din yan. Naintindihan? Pero all the rest na minention ko mula pa kanina, up to this time, halos lahat niyan ay nasa recorded. Okay? Okay. So, malinaw ba? For the remaining, yung isi-send ko na remaining, hindi na yon kakain ng malaking time. Okay? I will send the continuation, okay, before. Okay? I will send the continuation. Ito na lang yun eh. Oh. Okay. Ito na lang, di ba? So definitely, wala ako ditong babanggitin na. Kasi all you need to do here is to memorize. Wala na rin ako ditong babanggitin. Kasi, ayan na yon. All you need to do dito is to memorize also. Okay? I mentioned already, Jejuni, Kolay, etc. Okay? Wala na rin babanggitin dito kasi alam nyo naman, itong part na to, may table kanina, nandoon yan. Okay? Kaya lang ito, naka-species. In short, to identify the species under Vibrio, we do the biochem. Okay? Nag-gets? So, ang utang kong lecture, yung HASEC, okay, ito, at saka ito, and also Burkholderia. Okay? So, I am done with the lecture today. Okay? Kung ayaw magkasakit, huwag maglabas-labas. Mag-mask ka kung kinakailangan kung nasa school ka. Ingatan niyo yung mga sarili ninyo. Okay? Sige. I am done. Paki-open ang camera. Tignan natin ang presence niyong lahat. I will take screenshot. Paki-open. Kung ang nasa